Hello everyone, I'm back again with another video. This time I am taking a look at the Judgement Eternal Champions starter box. I just received this recently and am excited to dig into it. I wanted to share with you everything that's in the box as well as I open it up here and really see what's in there. If you know anything about Judgement, this is the second iteration of the game, scaling it down to 32mm and adding a hex map and a few extra additional rules that really flavor the game. Now, the new game is being made by Creature Caster, who's been so kind to send this our way, and we're going to be reviewing this and seeing what we think of this new starter box. So let's dig right in and see what our impressions are of this massive box. Alright, first of all, my first impression is that this box is massive. It's big and it's very heavy. I'm not sure exactly why it's heavy, but we're going to find out. And just to give you an idea of how big it is, here's an orc from Warhammer, just to show you how tall this box is. It's massive. Guess he's to scale to Brock there. Of course, the next question is, what is actually inside the box? So let's take a look at the back here and kind of run it down. Alright, so you're going to see the new effigies, some of the new heroes, the new map, some of the cards, and here at the bottom a list of what the contents are. I'm going to list those up on the screen here in case you'd like to pause and take a look. As well as here's a list of the heroes that are included in the starter box. These are all PVC plastic pieces, so that is labeled as such. And let's start cutting this box open. Let's get the plastic off first, that's always the fun part. Alright, I'm just taking a blade around here. And the box and the packaging and everything is high quality so far, so super impressed with the printing and production. Let's get this plastic off here. Big rip. And let's open it up. It's nice and heavy, so should be pretty easy. Alright, come on. Don't make me a liar. Okay. Alright, not as easy as I thought. Now that that's out of the way, we can... Whoa, okay, wow, yeah, that's a full neoprene playmat for playing Judgment on 3v3. I'm pretty impressed with this. This explains a lot of the weight in the box, and the interesting thing is the back has a really lovely picture on it as well. The sides are all stitched up, so I expect this to last a long time. Next coming up are the rulebooks themselves. The first book on top here, this rules overview, is a quick start guide for getting started in Judgment. It breaks down everything and includes a full demo game to run you through and teach you all of the basics and what you need to know to get started with Judgment. The second book in the box is the full rule book containing all of the rules and specifications for Judgement Eternal Champions. After playing the previous version of Judgment and checking out this brand new rulebook, I'm much more impressed with the layout and the quality of the book, and it's much more readable, which I appreciate. Plus it has these handy quick charts on the back of both rulebooks for you and your opponent to use so you can see all of the breakdowns of the phases. And if you're curious, all the rules are technically free through the app Warband Commander, and you can get started on Judgment today. Alright, pretty easy. Next up we have a bunch of cardboard tokens and terrain pieces. You can see the terrain pieces from the back side consist of hexagons. This lines up with the neoprene mat to customize your terrain, and all of these tokens represent things like fate and souls and other status effects which your champions might be using. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. On to the really exciting part, IC Minis. Starting at the top here, we have our hero and champion minis. We can see all of our heroes in here, along with a couple of monsters. We've got Inferno and Gloom, and a few skeletons for Zarin Bogdan to summon. One of the nice things here is that you have 10 champions, so in case you'd like to play 3v3 pick and ban, which requires 5 champions for each side, you can do so right out of the starter box. Alright, next up we've got this interesting underpiece here, and probably the thing that jumps out at you first are these 2 enormous effigies. You can see that they take up 3 hexagon pieces each, and then underneath are these health markers that clip onto the cards. So there's some more material here underneath. Now that I've put Krognar back in its place, let's pick up Ista's effigy here. And we can see some of the status effect tokens, these 3D tokens down here, which are extremely helpful. And, oh, the most important part, the silica packet. No moisture. Get out of here, water. We won't be needing this for the game. You can discard. The 3D tokens for Judgment Eternal Champions are one of the things that I've been really looking forward to. I managed to get a chance to paint some of the prototype markers, and I thought they were pretty exciting, and seeing more of these come to life, especially with the little labels and everything on them, is really cool. You can see that each one of them has their effect listed on them, so they're very specific to different effects. Next thing we'll look at here are the God cards. So in Judgment Eternal Champions, you get to choose an alignment with a god that represents your effigy and gives you special powers. Underneath the cards, we've got some of our Judgment dice. We've got a set of black dice and a set of white dice. These dice are specific to the game of Judgment. They're still based off of a D6, however they have specific sightings, and of course we get some regular D6s here for some special rolls. In the next stack of cards, we have the Hero and Champion cards, which includes monster cards here. Each Hero and Champion and monster is split up into a number of different cards to give you their stats, abilities, and other important information for playing them, as well as leveling up for champions. These smaller cards are artifact decks. Each champion gets a set of artifacts that they can choose and buy from in the game, and these give special effects to their champions. Very MOBA-like and inspired by games like League of Legends and Dota. After picking up the rulebook again and taking a look through, I realized this is a lot like riding a bike. It's pretty involved in the first Judgment game, and the rules are pretty darn similar. The biggest change are hex grids and measurements and ways to charge, and the inclusion of the God rules. And I'm pretty darn excited for what's to come with Judgment. Many of the champions that were available in V1 are still on the way, and there is a lot that Creature Caster has promised in the meantime. I'm also excited to get out my old models and play with those since they're still legal. And I'm also excited to play with some of the new models from Creature Caster specifically. Their demons and the Orc Forge Guard, those look really exciting, and I'm glad that they're adding something extra to the game instead of just rebooting it. I am a bit disappointed that it's gone down to 32mm in scale instead of the original 54mm. However, this does make it a lot easier to transport and play games with on the road, so I am excited to bring this out to my local game store as well as some conventions and get some pickup games in. So after running through the demo game a few times and brushing up on my rules, I decided to take this out to my local gaming store, Tabletop Game and Hobby, and Cardboard Corner Cafe, and run a few demos for people. And that was pretty exciting. I got to introduce Judgment to a handful of new players who had either not seen it at all or had just seen little bits and pieces of it previously, and get them excited about this same game that I'm excited about. So this is a little bit of an unusual video for me. I don't normally do product reviews, but this game's very exciting to me. I love painting it, and I'm really excited to see what's coming down the pipe from Creature Caster and to get some games in at my game store and at conventions. Till next time.